Where is that in the back?
What country's flag has only the colors green, black, and gold on it? Nigeria? No, Jamaica. Glenn, what team broke a 108-year-old World Series drought when they finally won in 2016? Cubs. Correct. Joe, Soggy Bottom was a favorite term Mary Berry and Paul Hollywood used as judges on what UK food competition show? Mary Berry's Baking Show. Correct. K. If I rode to the capital city of Bismarck, what U.S. state would that be? Hampshire. No. Time's up. Hey, remember a couple of minutes ago when I offered you $500,000 in grand change? Now, no math major, but
Did it
$12,500
rain all day today?
$500,000. So, team, for the entire show, you have banked only
I don't know. They had me up there like I'm in jail. You couldn't see out the windows or nothing. Have you ever been to something like that?
Oh, good.
You have? Well, you were going through a crisis or something?
Hmm?
You were going through a crisis or something?
No, ain't never been where you went to.
Yeah.
That whole psych ward and shit
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
like, what the now? But like I say, I was hyperventilating. I couldn't breathe, could barely talk. Just the stresses of it all. So I guess they were thinking I was gonna harm myself or do harm to others. I said, no, ma'am. But then I get up there and you lose my keys. I'm going through the security check. You check everything in my pocket, but you tell me I ain't got my keys. Mm-mm. I ain't crazy. I wasn't gonna leave till I got, baby. I could have been in there 3 weeks. I wasn't gonna leave until I had my keys. I'm telling you, they had me thinking. They had me thinking. And every time I go in there, here come the counselor. It's your turn. Okay. The first thing you ask me, Miss Tillman, are you thinking about harming yourself? No. Miss Tillman, are you thinking about harming anybody else? No. Are you seeing things? Yes. I see my keys in my hand. And when I walk through the security, they ask me, they said, out your pocket and just put it in your backpack. I put my stuff in the backpack. They took my phone, left my keys in the backpack, but when my backpack got upstairs, the nurse go through the backpack, ain't no keys. So what they, and this other lady told me that her wedding band came up missing, never got replaced. So they take people property and lock it up. They supposed to label that stuff. But how you gonna put me on that floor and then uh try to diagnose me, but you can't help me with my keys? Man, I ain't never ever going back to that hospital. You understand me? My experience, and I can't wait to do my Google review. My experience was horrible, horrible. I'm definitely gonna do my review. No shade to nobody. I ain't gonna even say the hospital name. I'm just gonna get on there and I'm gonna do my Google review. I'm surprised they didn't misdiagnose me. Huh? I mean, with you doing all of that, I'm telling you, I ain't had no sleep. And then guess what? On the third night, I had a dream. Guess what I had a dream of? My keys being lost in some laundry. And guess where they found it at?
Well,
On some laundry. In the them, I think on them clothes, them hospital uniforms and stuff. The worst experience ever. I don't know who watching me, but you always watch me and you always coming over here and you always hanging in there. But I know this filter is very ugly. I feel ugly. I ain't had no sleep. I've been up, tossing and turning, wondering where I'm gonna live, how I'm gonna get my property back. Is they ever gonna solve the death of my mother and my brother? Are they gonna call me? I'm talking about anxiety just so high. And then she tell me, I can tell it's taking a toll on you. Yes, Yes, and then when I get to the hospital, because I'm having anxiety to the point where I can't even breathe or talk. I couldn't even get my breath right. I'm like, she's like, what's wrong? I can't take it. I just can't take this pressure. That's hard. And then you get to a hospital and they put you on the psych floor and then go to checking your stuff and tell you ain't no keys in your bag when you know that you put your keys in your bag. So, you know what I started visualizing in my head when I was walking to the bus stop and my keys may have fell on the ground down the drain. I'm wondering all types of stuff. Then I'm thinking, okay, if my keys went, I'm trying to name places, but it wasn't possible. I had to lock my door when I walked out. I looked right at my keys in my pocket. I had my keys, my eyeglasses, and my phone. Okay, when I came through the emergency room, they said you're gonna have to go through security. So I said, okay. They pushed me in the wheelchair over there. I'm still crying hysterically. I'm talking my eyes so swole, so red. I don't know how they just swelled up just the heart. I ain't never cried so hard, Greg. The last time that I had a panic anxiety attack like that, it was after my mom died. That's when they admitted me to the hospital and I told them everything that had happened to me. I was traumatized. That was the last time, and that's when they diagnosed me. Now, they still diagnosed me with anxiety, but and they said I had depression. I told them I'm depressed about all this. I said, but for y'all to admit me to this hospital, and I get upstairs, and security come in there and check my bag, and my keys is missing, and that's all I have. That's the last that I have. Car gone, phone disconnected. Ain't got my property down here. You know what my sister told me? Send me that text message, and I said, Fluff, we need to do this paperwork together. I said, you don't have to fix this stuff. Look, read my lips. She said, how you gonna tell me that? I'm your sibling, and and so that on those are triggers for me, and I need to be mentally healthy. You know what I'm saying? And so when that happened to me, and I get to the hospital, and they want to put me on that floor, and then they abusing me, my playing on my intelligence. I know good and well where my keys are. I just couldn't do it. You. I'm bawling out crying, telling you I got a YouTube channel. I feed the homeless. I motivate. I love singing. I karaoke. I have a lot of followers. I'm a professional. I'm an educator. I got good sense. So you admit me to the psych ward because you thinking I'm harming myself. You take all of my belongings. Then when I get upstairs, okay, I'm calming down. I don't know what pill they gave me. I told him. She said, "Man, would you like a pill?" I said, "What is that gonna do? What's the pill for? It'll just stop your anxiety." Okay, I took the pill, and it did calm me down. You hear me? So when it calmed me down, that's when the nurse came in the room, to check my bag. She bought my bag upstairs. Said they're gonna have to lock it in the storage. The phone is downstairs. And I said, okay. And he says, everything in your bag. Go ahead and check it. I opened up my bag. Guess what's missing? My keys. So I'm like, here go my anxiety because I'm like, they was like, Miss Tim, you didn't have no keys when you checked in. I was like, oh, I had keys. I made sure I had keys because I'm facing homelessness, and I still have access to my apartment. And when I leave here, I don't know how long y'all gonna keep me to make sure I'm okay. But when I leave here, I need to have a home to go to because I tried to file my unlawful detainer so I can get into my property. I own this property. Been paying taxes on this property. got tax receipts, but guess what? They ain't even got a barcode on it. So some fraudulent is going on, and it's done gave me a major mental breakdown. So I think I'm finna go on vacation. You hear me?
Mhm.
And just start over from scratch. I'm gonna move from this side of town to a whole nother city. I cannot deal with this. I'm gonna set this court date, see if I get my family members in there, figure out what, because that's my property, and I shouldn't. And me, I'm a taxpayer. I went to school. I worked hard for this, and for them not to advocate for me,
Mhm.
you pushing the agenda about an unlawful detainer and getting me out of this apartment, but you're not helping Miss Tillman do the unlawful detainer to get them folks off my property. So now I'm in the middle of transition. Got to go to court on Tuesday. All this stuff is public information. Type my name in on Google. It's public information. And I got to go to court for non-payment of rent. And you tell me I ain't got no chance. But what about the discrimination? What about everything that I've gone through? This is crazy. And I might be wrong for going public, but guess what? Somebody need to know this. I called, it's the chicken burning.
Yeah.
I called patient advocacy. And I told them what I had experienced. And all she said was, I'm sorry. All she said was, I'm sorry.
That's all you do is wait.
Yeah, but I said, no. I said, what we need to do is a grievance. We need to do a grievance because how can you charge me for this 4-day hospital stay? You see what I'm saying? I ain't made enough money to get no insurance. I got to go through Medicaid. But anyway, how you going to bill? Even if you're billing Medicaid, you stress me out more than anything losing my keys, Mr. Hospital. Like you trying to make me think I'm psycho-free. They was like, Miss Tillman, what no keys? Looking at me. Instead of asking me, are you seeing things? On the 3rd day, that lady came to me and she said, Miss Tillman, are you going to harm yourself? No, ma'am. She said, I know you're tired of asking these same questions, but we have to ask this twice a day to see how you're feeling. She said, how are you feeling? She said, your anxiety, what's the level? I said, 9. She said, your depression, what's the level? 10. She said, what's the main thing that's bothering you? I told her the death of my mother and my brother, along with the fact that my property is up in the air, along with the fact that I just finished taking all these classes, but my fingerprint is pending. Never, long as I've been in this profession, has my fingerprint been pending. But it's pending because I did all these FOIA reports and I'm advocating for myself. These police reports don't have audio or video to them. So how am I in a position to do what I'm doing? Because there's fraud. I told her about that. I told her how that depressed me. I told her how my dad molested me. I told him how my mother and my brother, 2 bodies come out of one house. No investigation. I said, ma'am, this bothers me. I told her how I got S assaulted. You know what S assaulted is? I ain't gonna even say the word, but I got assaulted. I got harassed in communication. And so I have to file a complaint. How is it that I got property on land and I'm fixing to be homeless? And then the address that was on the when I served the eviction notice, I got threatened. The man told me to get off of his property. It's not his property. It's mine. And then they say, They can't do anything about the threats. I can't live on that property if I'm gonna be threatened like that. So where am I gonna go? I have to move out of here. That's stressful. Then I get to the hospital because I'm having a mental breakdown, and then they tell me, I tell them, ma'am, I'm facing homelessness. I've been harassed. You know, I have a complaint filed, with the housing development. I've done everything that I'm supposed to do. I can't take this. And now y'all telling me y'all done lost my keys, and you telling me I didn't have no keys. Then you told me you played the camera back and there was still no keys. I was so stressed out. I didn't get no sleep up there the first night. The second night I didn't get no sleep. That's when I called the advocacy person. And this sweet nurse, I can't remember her name, but I'm going to do a Google review. I'm going to mention her name in there. I remember one nurse, I think his name was Todd. He was awesome. But this nurse, when she looked at me and saw my eyes red, swollen, I'm looking a hot mess. She said, I'm going to do all I can to find them keys. She said, I believe you. I believe you left your keys at that security booth. I really do. I said, ma'am, I don't even know what I checked in this hospital for. I'm so distraught. I forgot what I checked in for. I'm so distraught. All I wanted was my keys. When that woman bought me my keys, you just don't know. The pressure had let off me. I was like, thank God. I said, ma'am, this means something. I said, because I have played all these scenarios in my head about my keys being missing. But that just, I don't never want to go back there. You hear me? Never. That hospital, they didn't do me right. And I'm going to file, a complaint. But I'm glad to be out of there. I was only supposed to be there for 2 days, wind up in there 4, because on the third day, she's like, well, today is the day you're supposed to go home. And I said, well, ma'am, I feel like I haven't had any treatment. I haven't had no rest. Y'all was constantly saying that when I walked through that security booth, I didn't have any keys. That was very stressful for me because I was thinking, what am I going to do? But anyway, after I got my keys, I started engaging with everybody there. I started going to the little groups and, all that stuff. And just trying to, make the best of what I had there. And I enjoyed it. I learned some coping skills and, they gave me resources. But they just don't know how much they stress me out. She was like, well, you wanna stay another day, another 2 days? I said, that's fine. A day or two is, it's fine. When you think I'm ready to go. She's like, you're a great person, I think you just had a lot of hardship. A lot of people go through that and it just hit them real hard. You're very emotional. She said, let's just see how you do for another day. And I had fun. Look, I had a little meeting at the table. We had little testimonials and devotions, and I had a chance to sing a lot of gospel songs to everybody. So I uplifted a lot of people that were there. But as for me, I feel like I ain't getting no help. What's gonna help me is just get some rest tonight, wash my hair real good, and start over tomorrow. I'm ready for that chicken. Buck, chicken, chicken, buck, chicken, buck, chicken, chicken, buck.
Where the chicken, man?
I ain't had no fried chicken. in a minute. I ain't been on live in so long. I don't think my viewers are out here anymore. And I don't want to say nothing to get my page knocked off. I definitely don't want to do that. I'm going to keep it copacetic. You know what? I got a stalker, Greg. I got one viewer that comes in my live and stay in my live and watch my live and never give a thumbs up. So I have a stalker in my live. I don't know who it is, but somebody is I always feel like somebody's watching me. Maybe it's just a dream. Whoa. You ever heard of that? Look, as soon as I started singing that song, they left my live, but look like they came back in. But I always feel like somebody's watching me. Hey, this week is going to be a whole complete turnaround for Miss Tillman. A whole complete turnaround. They said Miss Tillman moved to a shelter. Why should I have to move to a shelter when I got property out here? I got family out here. You see what I'm saying? Well, I thought.
Chicken on the stove.
Ain't no bread in there. Just give me a. Can you put me a piece on the plate with some hot sauce? Like 2 pieces.
Yeah, you put your own hot sauce. I might put too much.
That's okay if you put too much hot sauce. I love hot sauce. I want something spicy right now. I've been eating hospital food. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Maybe it's just a dream. Ooh.
How many pieces you want?
2. I just want 2 for right now. I'm gonna try it out, see what it tastes like. But like I say, I'm so glad to get back. And then we had a group session, right? And this lady, I don't know if this nurse didn't like me or what, but anyway, she said, anybody want to speak? So nobody said nothing. So I was like, let me go ahead and chime. I said, yes, ma'am. She wanted anything you want to say about depression. So I explained to her what had me depressed. And you know what the lady said? Okay, now let somebody else talk. Really? You a nurse? Where the flat at?
You want some wings too?
Yeah. Give me
You want two
flats.
2 wings?
Yeah, 2 drums, 2 flats. I like the flats. Okay, I'm finna bite this chicken, Greg. Greg, you fried this chicken hard tonight. Let me get 2 flats. You fried that chicken hard tonight.
Just get the crust off, you'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm hungry. I appreciate you washing my dishes and fixing me something to eat, honey. I really, really do. You know, Lord will replace everything the devil stole from you. What? Oh, I been saying you ain't put no hot sauce in. You see this hot sauce? You know how it got like that?
That top.
I call myself gonna cut the plastic, and for some reason, it's like
top.
that. No, that's the glass. That's actually.
Yeah, you cut the glass.
That's what I'm saying. How that glass cut like that? I took the knife and rubbed it across. I said, dang, I couldn't turn it, because it had a little plastic. And I'm turning one turn, so I said, let me just cut the plastic. I took that knife and said, and when I did that, the whole thing hit the floor. I said, oh, and I've been thinking glass is in here, but it just broke out so smooth, and I haven't caught any glass. You fried this chicken hard. See you had to, if you'd have fried that chicken at your house.
I can use skillet. I don't use See, I use skillet. I don't use a pot.
You turn it over. That's deep fried. This deep fried.
Yeah, I don't.
So you don't deep fry your chicken. You just fry it in a skillet like the old fashioned way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what it tastes like. Not bad at all.
So what?
Not bad at all. Not bad at all, honey.
You crazy?
I'ma tear it up, baby. Not bad at all.